Okay. Here we go. So, I got the Jamboard open. It looks like most of you are in that. Again, you just have to go to the chat box, click on that link, open up the Jamboard. Let's just go to, let's see here. Here we go. Jamboard 8 is the one that we kind of left off on. Oh yeah, okay. I was trying to remember which commercial. I do different commercials in all the different classes, so I was trying to remember which one we looked at here yesterday. All right, so again, I'm on Jamboard 8. It's up on the screen in the meeting, but excuse me, you're gonna have to move the Jamboard slides on your own document to match up. Yesterday we took a look at the McDonald's commercial, and it was for that new signature crafted smokehouse burger. So that's what we looked at. As far as context goes, pretty easy for this one. You just have to understand that McDonald's is a fast food restaurant. We understood the purpose to be to convince the audience to go to McDonald's, try a new signature crafted cheeseburger or burger or whatever it was. And then as far as the three modes here, this is where we started, asking for you guys to jump in here, and we did a pretty good job with that, and we're going to continue to try to practice that today. The speaker, we took some notes on that. Narrator, this particular commercial featured a narrator that kind of voiced, over the entire commercial, had a bold voice, was explaining everything, nice deep tone of the voice, sounded believable, trustworthy. The message, a series of questions, with the images, some contrasting. All images, though, point to something that was sophisticated, artsy, which kind of leads into that audience, that they're trying to maybe, I guess, target for this particular commercial is that maybe there looks like younger people, 20s, 30s, based on the images, based on the guessing the age of the people that are in the commercial as well. Everyone's smiling. It's great. It's sophisticated. You're trying the signature crafted cheeseburger. If anyone's been to McDonald's, it doesn't seem to be like what the commercial portrayed all these different things to be. So definitely try to rebrand themselves for that particular commercial. All right. So that's the one that we did yesterday. What I want to do is continue to practice this, and I want to do at least one more commercial, and then we might do another one, or maybe I'll pull us in a different direction and we might look at something else. But I want to do at least one commercial that you guys found. So we can go ahead and go to the next Jamboard, which was Jamboard 9. And that one's the next one that's blank, so we can be there and ready to go. And then all we need from you folks is to give us a good commercial. Okay. What one did you find that you liked? Did you find one recently? Have one in the back pocket?
Bonus points if it's for something awesome like toys from the 90s or 80s.
Yeah, that would be excellent as well.
If you can kind of skip it commercial.
Gosh, I remember those skip it commercials. Find old what was that? The cereal with the gorilla. I can't remember.
Not Harambe cereal.
Yeah, gosh, yeah, that was like Kong. I don't know. It was very interesting.
Tang commercials. Those were
Tang phenomenal commercials.
Tang, it's a kick in a glass.
It was for kids. It was like directed towards kids.
Yeah. And now I want Tang. Just out of nostalgia. It doesn't even taste good.
No, it's kind of disgusting. It's like you get like a worse aftertaste than drinking Sunny D.
It's like the taste of just brushing your teeth right after drinking orange juice.
Yes, that's kind of how it tastes. So if you're into that sort of thing.
I kind of like Tang.
Oh, Max likes Tang.
Man, now I just feel like I insulted Max.
Sorry, Max. You can like Tang if you want to. I
You
apologize.
are that drink is actually good.
Okay. Well, we apologize, Max. You can definitely like Tang. I didn't even
It,
know that they still made it. So that's
I mean,
news to me.
Tang is the drink of the astronauts, and it is a kick in a glass.
All right. I might just start looking and seeing what you guys have for commercials on your other document here. All right. Let's see if I can get this. I'm just looking at people's stuff. I'm trying to see if I can get one to work here. All right, first one I saw here, I just pulled up someone's. So we're going to use it. I just pulled up the first one. So thank you, Keegan, for your donation. I just stole it from you. Let's take a look at this. Mute myself. We'll take a look at the commercial. All right, that was beautiful. Thank you for that commercial, even though I know I stole it. Okay. It took me a second to realize that, okay, it didn't seem to fit the Bush baked beans commercial mantra. So, and then looking back at it, I realized, oh, it's a different company beans, which makes a lot of sense because I didn't see a talking dog.
It's the battle of Big Bean.
Yeah, I know there's such a rivalry with beans, but Haynes is making a serious push against Bush. All right. So we have a Haynes baked beans commercial. Context, I guess we have to understand it is for baked beans. I think we also have to understand this takes place in space, maybe the moon. I'm assuming it's the moon, but I don't want to make any assumptions. Then obviously the purpose is Okay, is to try to convince the audience there to purchase those baked beans. Definitely taking an interesting approach to get there. For this particular commercial, a little bit different as far as the speaker goes. It's tough to in this particular commercial because it's more movie like. There's not a whole lot of the ethos part of it, the speaker part of it. So right now, let's go ahead and leave that blank. But there are notes that we can get into the other two sections. So there are things that we can add to the message. Like how are they trying to convince us to buy baked beans? And more so, we're going to get probably the most amount of information will be in the audience. So how are they trying to get a reaction from the audience? Who are they targeting? How they're going to try and play on emotion there to convince their audience to consider buying Hanes baked beans. So why don't you go ahead? We're on slide 9. Slide over to the toolbar, fourth option, sticky note. If you feel like you have something to add to the message part, the logos part, go ahead and add that in yellow. Otherwise, if you have some notes about how this commercial is targeting a particular audience, then go ahead and add something in pink so that we can see it in the audience section. Okay, good. We got one already in here. Perfect. Let's get a couple more things in here. Yeah, definitely the up-tempo music, bold text. Good, good. And let's see what else we got. Don't be shy. Start tossing in some sticky notes. There's definitely a lot of things we can put underneath pathos of the audience. Again, remember, these are all the different questions here at the bottom that you could be trying to answer in your sticky note. Who is the speaker addressing? What are their concerns? How is he or she appealing? That's the commercial. How is the commercial appealing to the emotions and imagination? How is the commercial moving the audience to care about the message? Okay. Yep, so let's keep it going here. We should see, I mean, there's at least 7 of you, so we should see at least a couple more sticky notes. Try to get something down in there. So I should see at least, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 more sticky notes. I want all of you, that's what all y'all means if you didn't know. I'm just kidding. I know that you know what that means. I want all of you to participate. That would make all my dreams and Mr. Burton's dreams comes true.
Is what I dreamed about last night.
Yeah, I was thinking about empty rhetorical triangle Jamboards being filled in with student sticky notes.
Woke up at 3, had to sort of contemplate for a little bit.
Barely go back to sleep, so excited. Okay, still got this two sticky notes. So think about this. If those of you that haven't put something in there yet, what audience is all about, well, it's about a couple different things, but one of the main things is all about the emotion, what emotion they're using to convince. So what is the emotion that this commercial is going for? And don't say, okay, it's not intended to be scary, though it's a little bit gruesome at first. It's not intended to be scary. There is one emotion that they're going for. Okay. And what is that? How are they trying to be memorable?
Likewise, look at the bottom of the boxes and the triangles. And there are some, if you're someone that does better with a direct question, there's some direct questions down there to help start that process. Write the answer to one of those questions in one of the yellow or blue or pink notepads or sticky notes.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to add one in here. So I have in here, as far as what audience they're targeting, I added in a note. Doesn't seem like they're targeting an older demographic, so I'm thinking younger, those that would love the concept of violence, the violence and overall concept of the commercial. When I think of, and sometimes now we're getting a little bit into like marketing, advertisement, which is, something that if you're into, you can go to school for that. But that's all about, well, Chevy does this with their weird commercials when they actually showed you like focus groups in their commercials. But a lot of those companies will try to bring in people, get focus groups, see what people would be interested in, what they would respond to. And the reason I'm telling you that is because you have to keep in mind who your audience is when you're making these arguments, when you're putting together these advertisements. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, doesn't seem like this is something like well, I don't have a whole lot of grandparents left, but growing up, I'm like, my grandparents, I don't know if they even like that commercial. I don't even know if my mom would appreciate that commercial. So I'm thinking it's got to be a younger demographic.
It's got the CGI, that's sci-fi.
Right.
Yeah, think of what are called focus groups. They're kind of cool to hear because it's like, oh, that group absolutely hates this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm looking at them like it's got to be a younger audience, and maybe they're trying to push to a younger audience because when you think of I don't know, when I think of baked beans, I don't think of that of something being young people jumping towards, and that's something that maybe that older people buy regularly anyway, and they're trying to push towards a demographic of possible consumers that they don't usually have people interested in buying baked beans. It's just my thought behind that. I don't know. I'm not in the advertising room for Haynes baked beans. So we're not adding things in here because you're making me angry. I'm gonna turn all green and bust my computer. Sorry, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But I would love for us to kind of jump in here and participate just a bit more. Even if you feel not confident in your answer, throw it in here. We can talk about it, and then maybe you'll learn. Oh, okay, I see where he was going, or what I needed to do. You can't be afraid to make mistakes in here. The one that I was trying to edge towards.
Actually, when you're done, Mr. Dryden, I'll throw something in.
Okay, and I apologize if I'm stealing it, Mr. Burton here.
Oh no, you're golden.
All right, so I don't know why I put this in all caps, but another one for the audience part is that the emotion it seems like they want to use is humor. Okay, that's how they're trying to make it memorable, and part of this is part of the question is how they appealing to their concerns, values, or their imagination. Definitely appealing to their imagination with aliens on the moon, that sort of thing. But just when you think that it could be this, horrific sci-fi film, they have that ironic twist at the end, the fart caused by the beans. So it's a quality fart-producing bean. So is kind of it's kind of what they're saying in the commercial there. Good. Okay, now we're getting some things in here. And that's kind of where I'm gonna edit this slightly. I don't want to. This is kind of, I guess it's in two different areas. So I'm gonna try to explain this, and hopefully I don't sound like a weirdo. Okay. So this is kind of what they're saying, okay? And so I'm editing the speaker, this ethos one, and this could kind of go into the message as well. The fart, now you didn't probably hear that you wake up at 7:55 and hear Mr. Joda talking about farts. But if you think about it, the fart is showing the credibility of the brand. It's the only thing in the commercial that connected what was going on to the actual product, which is the baked beans. So now they're using that as humor as well. Totally get that. But again, why use that fart? Usually people associated like baked beans with giving you gas. So quality baked beans giving you gas. It's almost like it's trying to validate that quality baked beans aspect. That's kind of interesting, or that's kind of weird to think about.
For those
Right.
of you who are still thinking, I want you to think about this question. Is this commercial is it clear? Is it specific? Is it organized? Or is it well reasoned? You can, honestly, that's one of the things about commercials and what make a better or a not as good commercial. If you're not sure what they're talking about, you're not sure what they're trying to sell, yeah, say it wasn't very clear.
Yeah, you can analyze the message. You
Yeah,
can put in here. That's all yellow. So when you guys eventually do that, I'm going to have you answer that question directly. So you're allowed to say things like, as far as convincing,
you can say that wasn't a good commercial. I don't know what they're talking about, or I wasn't convinced because I don't like beans to begin with. And that didn't really make me know why I should like them. Because remember, they have a specific audience. That means someone who's not in that audience, or someone that might like humor, usually a younger demographic. They might like it. An older demographic might go, that commercial was weird.
right. They might do something they might do something like this. I put it, try to show you how you can maybe start to question it. As far as convincing, not so much. No idea if these beans are any good. Just know they will give me gas, possibly get me killed. Now I was joking around a little bit on that second part, but it might be someone thinking like, what's the connection here? You could have old people getting turned off. They're never going to buy this because of this weird commercial. I've sat and watched TV with my grandparents and had them go and weirdly shake off commercials like they hated them. So you could potentially, lose consumers. But yeah, it's always good to question the logic, the message that's being delivered in that commercial.
Another one that you guys can do, and here's where the question would be pink. You can just say who is the speaker talking to? That's that audience that's trying to figure out who's the demographic. What kinds of concerns or values are they trying to get to? That sounds really really weird for a beans commercial, but what kind of thing are they concerned about? Who are they trying to reach? Yep. How are they trying to just get to the people's emotions? How are they trying to get to their imaginations? We talked about humor. Continue on that. They also went into sci-fi. Are they trying to get to a certain group of people who are interested in space? Is that going to be people who kind of find that stuff fun? Is space the right place for a commercial about beans? And how are they trying to move that audience? We kind of hit a lot of that, but I want to just see more of you guys I'd rather see you guys double down on it I'd rather see the same thing written 2 or 3 times than a blank space. That's what wakes me up at 3 in the morning and makes me contemplate empty triangles.
All right, so I put, based on what Mr. Burton was sharing, I added another one in there. He's got he was talking about the space, the sci-fi, violent. I almost put in there, I know that's not a word, video game because of the violence as well in the CGI. It got a little bit of that feel, and especially, I guess my mind went to, where do I see the most aliens and violent aliens? And you do see them in movies, but I feel like I don't play a whole lot of video games, but I feel like that's a premise. I played Halo, so I remember when I saw the alien, I thought of Halo actually immediately. But again, my examples may not be the most current, but I thought of that immediately as well, and then thought, okay, maybe it's another kind of demographic piece there with, with the aliens, sci-fi, maybe some video gamey pieces to it. But you can see how, I guess the point is, and what Mr. Burton's trying to talk to you guys about too, is you can get in depth with your analysis, even on a silly 40-second commercial. Okay. And you can go in depth and really rhetorically analyze that.
And that analysis can be pretty simple, like just going,
Mhm.
that commercial made no sense to me. No, like you can just say, like, space doesn't connect me to beans.
Right. And the important part there is Mr. Burton explained why. So it's saying that, okay, this doesn't make sense to me, but why? And Mr. Burton kept going and he explained why. And that's the kind of things that we're going to be looking for. Okay.
Yeah, we're analyzing this, but I think if you're getting stuck somewhere because you're like, I don't think that worked, or I don't know, I didn't really like it. Cool. Say that you didn't like it. Just say why, because that's, by saying why you didn't like it, that's analysis. That's you taking a look at it and going, that part didn't work.
Right. All right. I'm going to show you one more commercial because let's see if we can get a little bit more with it. So I'm going to move over to Jamboard 10. It's another blank one, but give me a second here to pull up this commercial that I have. I think it'll help us kind of see this maybe a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to put another commercial on there, and let's see if we can take a look at this. This has a little bit longer of a message, and I think we can kind of take a look at exactly what Mr. Burton's talking about as far as the legitimacy or the rationale, the reason behind the argument. Okay, so let's take a look at this commercial and let's see, okay, are they making a convincing argument? All right. We're still going to fill out the chart, but I mean, this one really gives us a lot to talk about as far as the message goes, that logos piece. I've used this one in the past. Oops, hold on, let me mute myself. Okay, so that's another commercial example there. I'm just going to put in some of that information. All right, DirecTV service, roadside ditch. DirecTV is, I believe that's a
When
satellite.
your cable company keeps you on hold, you get angry.
Hold
When
on.
you get angry, you go.
Oh, I don't know why that was playing. All right.
Sorry, that was me. Since I missed out, I'm just going over it once.
Oh,
once.
that's all right. I was like, ah, sometimes they automatically play like 8 times in a row. I thought that's what was happening. Okay, so I have that context in there. We have to understand what these two things that they're mentioning are. We have to understand that DirecTV is a TV service satellite, and then we have to understand that cable is also TV service, just different. That uses that the cables that run underground, not the satellite dish on your roof that has to point south. So those are the context pieces. Purpose, then obviously they said it in there. Convince audience to switch to DirecTV, get rid of cable. Perfect. That is the target audience. Anyone that has TV, right? Try to get a pretty broad range of an audience, right? Real quick here, for this particular commercial. For whatever reason, must be these focus groups are all telling everyone that we trust those deep, trustworthy voices, right? Because that was kind of the speaker here for this particular commercial, another deep, trustworthy voice delivering the information. Now let's take a look at the logos part of this, the yellow. Okay, so I just put one more in for the emotion part. Definitely trying to be humorous. But let's take a look at the message. How do they go about trying to, their purpose is they got they want to switch to DirecTV,
Beautiful.
get rid of cable. Okay, good. So sorry, I'm just making sure that we can read these. Perfect. Right, good. And exactly, and how they go about doing that? How are they trying to convince you? And not just whoever is putting this in. Anyone can make a sticker, with that.
And don't overthink that. Like, what did
Right.
they do to try and convince you?
Yeah. What are the step that they took? How did they try to convince the audience? What did they literally do?
Looks like there's a couple cases of the first hours.
Yeah. You got let's see. Oh, we still got about 10 minutes, so
So guys, we need you to give us something. I see that we got one. Whoever gave us that yellow, greatly appreciate it. I say someone because as you guys can see, it's anonymous.
yeah, just click off of it right away. I mean, I don't know if you guys see it on like your individual screens.
No.
I guess you probably only see it on mine if you look at the presentation, but if you click off your sticky note, then
Yeah.
no one sees whose sticky note it is.
So,
and I'm trying to do that so that it is anonymous.
so guys, I'm going to read the question at the bottom of the message again, and I want somebody to be able to answer one of those because we're trying to say, what did they do or what did they say to try and convince us to switch to them? Is the message logical, clear, specific? Is it organized? Is it presented factually, credibly, or organized? It might be silly, but was there any of that? It might be silly, but was it specific? Was it organized? Was it well reasoned?
All right.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm gonna just take that to make it yellow.
Yeah, they like over organized it.
Mm-hmm.
They went like step by step to the point of getting an eye patch and people thinking you're tough, and then wanting to see how tough. I mean, now it's telling me that I need to get rid of cable.
Right. So let's help us out here. They used a. I'm going to go a little bit more in detail with this in a second. Progressive, cause and effect technique. If you don't get rid of cable, you'll end up in a roadside ditch. That's what they're saying. Okay. Now, you saw that there are steps in between. Everything because of this happens. You're frustrated waiting on the phone with cable. You're going to blow off steam. You're going to blow off steam. You're going to hurt yourself or whatever they said. You're going to get an eye patch. You get an eye patch, you're going to look tough. Well, then people are going, so it's that cause and effect. And because of just you being frustrated that you're waiting a long time in cable, you're going to end up in a roadside ditch. So you better switch to DirecTV. Now,
they made it clear. They made it very specific, overly specific. But they were still very clear. You were able to follow that. Where some commercials where they don't have any words, you're a little like, what's going on? Here they gave it some organization, and that gives the listener, you, the audience, the ability to follow it.
Okay.
As Mr. Dry is writing this, I want you guys to think, what aged people do you think they're going after? They're trying to sell TV service. Are they going after like 5-year-olds? Are they going after babies? Are they going after like 90-year-old people? Just make any random number on that spectrum of age, and who are they trying to go after?
All right. Oops, 40. So the one thing I put in there, and I know that maybe you guys don't know what that means. but I try to explain it. What they use in this commercial, as far as it being logical, I've used this commercial before to show logos because they try to make it sound logical. And what they end up doing is they use a logical fallacy, which is called a slippery slope, which means this. If you look at the explanation, A caused B and B caused C, then A caused C. That's their logic. That's not always true. In fact, that's hardly ever, the case. So just because you get an eye patch doesn't mean you're going to end up in a roadside ditch. Just because you have to wait for a while on the phone doesn't mean you're going to end up in a roadside ditch.
Yeah. I've met a handful of people that have had eye patches, and they've never ended up in ditches. I've known several people that had cable, more than just a handful.
Mm-hmm.
They've never ended up, most of them have never ended up in a roadside ditch.
Right. So this time they know, I guess what I'm trying to say is they know what they're doing. They know they're using that logical fallacy and they're using it for humor. So they're using a message that sounds logical in order to kind of get you to have a memorable, humorous response and be like, and maybe make that connection and remember and be like, yeah, you know what? I am frustrated about this cable. Maybe one time you're sitting down, you're like, I am sick of this cable. Oh, wait, there's commercials about this. DirecTV, if I'm sick of cable, I need to switch. So it's just that plug. Yep, it's just that plug. All right, so it's
and we have
4 minutes. Okay, never mind. Go ahead, Mr. Bird.
Great answer here, Ms. Dryda, of somebody saying that the audience is for adults who live on their own. Yeah, because if they live on their own, they're probably the ones who are trying to buy internet service. Yeah, you just narrowed down the demographic. You're not going to go through a sequential order of A causes B, B causes C, C causes D for a little kid's commercial. We know that the people trying to pay for cable service are people that are probably living on their own so that they're the ones paying for it. If it's a teenager, they might be able to follow it, but they're not paying for it. Their guardians are probably paying for it. It's not going to be business owners because a business, they're like, I own a dentist office. I don't need to get DirecTV. I just need something playing in the background. Steve Harvey will be calling Family Feud for the next 20 years. Yeah, you're talking about people who live on their own. They're living and they want to have TV service. It might seem like you didn't narrow it down much, but that's a big narrowing down when you're talking over 300 million people in the United States.
Mm-hmm. And then you're starting to think, okay, yeah, this is for, 25 to maybe 35, 40, 45, which is that's still a pretty big age gap, but it's, relatively small compared with how many ages there are. And also to think about it this way too, I don't know. I don't want to be like gender. You could put this in here, but we only have 2 minutes. But some of these commercials, you look at this and you have a male, and maybe it's geared a little bit towards males. Well, if you think about it, demographically wise, males are more often the ones to invest in TV, in cable, in satellite. It's often, if you think about it, I don't know if you guys just by like, what you see yourself, it was always, growing up, my dad was always the one who, got the cable, did all that stuff. My mom probably didn't even care to have cable or DirecTV or anything like that. So when I'm not saying that's the case all the time, but you can see that it's maybe even geared a little bit more towards males because those are maybe the people that will actually sign up to have DirecTV or cable. But I know that's now like this commercial.
That could be that underwriting influence of a patriarchy and all those kinds of things, but that's a whole different conversation. We're looking at this commercial. I'm not against that conversation. If you guys want to have it, let me know. But
But all those different factors go into it. They're looking at the data. They're trying to get their target audience. Who's going to actually make this switch. All things that they're doing, and again, they have to think about all these things when they're trying to convince someone to do something.
I think they had a couple of these commercials of the same series where the main character was a female. So So they had different series like this commercial series. They had a few different. If you don't switch to DirecTV, you will blah. then you will blah. And they had different commercials, ones that were more pointed towards males, towards females, to different areas. Cable sucks. Get DirecTV. Yeah.
That's what it's saying.
Not only are they saying get DirecTV, they're saying cable sucks. They're saying cable's customer service sucks.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be, I don't know if we talked about this with this class yesterday, but we did tell you that there are some wars that are going on. This was a huge war between cable and satellite. Now it's becoming a little bit more obsolete because there's a bunch of different services. Now there's streaming services like Hulu and, Sling TV and all the, I don't know, Fubo, Pluto, whatever, all these other streaming services, YouTube TV. But back then, gosh, these are actually kind of old now I'm thinking about it, but I can remember a time before all those streaming services, and it was just those two juggernauts, and they would often fight against each other. All right, that's 45, so no homework for tonight. We will pick up on this stuff on Thursday. Have a great Wednesday, everyone, and we will see you on Thursday.
See you guys. I'll pop over to second hour.
All right.
Unless you, Lady,